stand.
Please be seated.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to chapel. It might surprise you to know that the first hymn we're going to sing is estimated to be formed 10 million times per year. And so while we're going to make a relatively small contribution in number, I'm hoping that we're going to make a hearty contribution nonetheless. So please join me in singing Amazing Grace. It's hymn number 8. And as you turn to it, I'll just give you a moment to open it up and have a look. There's actually 2 verses there. Okay, so each verse has 4 lines, but you'll see them sort of written and presented back to back. We're going to repeat the first 4 lines at the end. Okay, so we'll actually sing 3 verses in total. So the whole thing that you have written in front of you, and then we'll go again and repeat that first verse. Okay, please stand.
So lots of things going on. Hope you're all coping with the new rhythm of being back at school and all the busyness and all the rest of it. It's a pretty frenetic time at the best of times, and obviously right at the moment it's probably even more so. We're trying, but as you heard last week, we're going to try and build on this whole chapel experience, and that singing part is something that we hope, despite the restrictions of masks and everything else, that we'll get more and more confident in. School mottos. I'm going to start there and you'll see where I go fairly quickly. School mottos. What's our school motto? Can you put your hand up and tell me? Huh?
Servate forte.
Thank you. Servate fortiter, right? Which means...
Serve you bravely.
Serve you bravely. Thank you. Just checking that you're all still awake. All schools have mottos. Mr. Monroe's old school has a, if I may say so, Mr. Monroe, has a bit of a lame motto. Because it just says, let Glenalmond flourish. Simple. Oh, is it, I've got another one? Floriat Glenalmond? Floriat Glenalmond, yep. There we go. So, why am I talking about this? Because one always sticks in my mind. And there's a school called Gordonston, which is actually, I guess, achieved fame because some of the royal family went to Gordonston, Prince Charles and so on. But their motto is brilliant. It's actually in French, plus est en vous, which means more is in you. How good is that for a school to have? More is in you. And that's what we, educators, believe. And sometimes you students don't believe enough. Because over the years of working with young people, I found that too often we impose limitations on ourselves. I can't do that, can't do this. And it's actually mainly because of fear of one sort or another. Fear that people will laugh at me, fear that I will fail, fear that I'm not good enough, fear that, oh, I can't join that group because I won't fit in. And that is entirely natural, right? Everybody that's ever been in grade 9, for example, just since we're talking just to grade 9s this morning, everybody that's ever been in grade 9s, all the adults in the chapel can recognize those feelings and remember them very well. In fact, sometimes when you think of them, you can think of situations where you start to blush, just even recalling that feeling that you had, right? But what I want to talk to you this morning about is keep controlling that. And it's an ongoing challenge and maybe even in some cases an ongoing struggle. But there's nothing wrong with it being ongoing. There are lots of things in life that are just ongoing. Right? If you get fit, for example, you're not just fit once, or then you just sort of put on 100 pounds. Well, no, that doesn't work. It's an ongoing thing once you get yourself fit. So when you're trying to keep your fears and your self-doubt in perspective, then just appreciate that it is going to be something you're going to keep working at. These times more than ever, fear is around, and rightly so. But the key is to make sure that we're not living in fear, right? We can live with fear, but not in fear. If you see the difference, right? The difference is that we're so scared to do anything if we're living in fear. But if we've put fear in its proper place, which is just there, it's part of life, right? And it helps us to be cautious, it helps us to take the right steps to make sure people are safe around us and all the rest of it. But just to situate some of these grade 9 fears that you may have, you may not have, you may have. So if you can cast back into the mist of time and imagine Mr. Robertson in grade 9. I know that's pretty hard, right? Like the car wasn't invented and all sorts of stuff that wasn't around. But seriously, in grade 9, and I had this brilliant teacher. He was actually a French teacher, and he was my homeroom teacher. I had the same teacher for 6 years of high school. Because in Scotland you went to high school in grade 7, so you had 6 years, and I had the same homeroom teacher, the same French teacher for 6 years, became a great friend of mine. Anyway, he comes to me one time when I'm in grade 9, and I'm in my 3rd year of learning French, and he says to me, we're going to do a play by Molière, and you're going to be the lead. And I said, no, chaps, that's not happening. Can't do that, sorry. Much as I really like you, I can't do that. I've never been on the stage in my life, I'm shy. I was shy, actually. And I just can't do it, it's not possible. Anyway, persuasive man that he was, he persuaded me to do it. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It convinced me that I could overcome this fear of making a fool of myself in public. And as you can tell, I'm standing up here, and I have no fear of making a fool of myself in public anymore. But it all goes back to that experience in grade 9. And I'm so grateful that he persuaded me to do it. And I went on to do a few other plays, and of course I've spent my life subjecting people to my speeches and so on. But the big thing is that if you overcome that big first hurdle and keep encouraging yourself and your confidence that you can do it. You can do anything you set your mind to. You have to believe and don't be afraid to fail. How many of you have seen that movie, Coach Carter? Well, shows you how quickly movies change. Once upon a time, in the last 10 years, Coach Carter was the movie to watch. Particularly if you like basketball. But I recommend it to you, it's still good, and it's in colour, right? It's not black and white. So, I think there's a quote by Marianne Williamson, which you may well have heard because it's been used a lot. But I offer it to you this morning because it's still as good as it was when I first read it. And it's beautifully used in the movie at a very moving moment. And so Marianne Williamson wrote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate." Does anybody recognize this? No? Maybe one or two. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That's the key. That's the key. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So don't be scared. Have the confidence. Have the confidence that that will have a positive effect on everybody around you. Don't be scared to be yourself, right? That's the other thing that happens, is that sometimes you think, oh, I'm not so keen on myself, I'd rather be him or her, right? No, be yourself. Be yourself. Being you is good. But that doesn't mean that you can't have role models, good role models. Remember, if I harken back to last week, I talked about your responsibility and the responsibility of the senior school in general to be good role models for these youngsters, for these little ones. That's the magic of this school, is we have that opportunity to be great role models. So my challenge to you this morning is to be the kind of person that you look up to. And never doubt that every little kindness that will come along with that can make a difference. There's a little girl walking along the beach, you may have heard this story, with her dad, and the tide's just come in and all the starfish have been washed in. Anybody recognize it? Get one or two people. Yeah? All the starfish have been walking. So she starts throwing them back in the water. And her dad says, without thinking, "What are you doing? Look at them, there's thousands of them. It's not going to make a difference." She picks one up and throws it in and said, "Made a difference for that one. Made a difference for that one." Right? So one little kindness, one little act of friendship at a time can make a difference. I'm going to finish this morning by going back actually to the same author, Marianne Williamson. As I encourage you to make a commitment every day to be better, every single day. Because you've probably heard me saying this already because I'm passionate about it, that we can all be better every day. Everything can be better. So, she summed it up beautifully. She said, "I no longer wish to be who I was, I wish to be more." Even if it's just so slightly, every day. So, we, the adults around here, believe that more is in you. You just have to believe that too. Thank you.
just in following that too, we have, whilst we're inviting everyone to be role models, we have our school prefects, and they have really high aspirations for their roles this year, and trying to influence, have a really positive influence in this community. I had just a really lovely experience last night reading through some homework that I'd given them, and I'd asked them why they wanted to be leaders, how they were going to lead, and what they wanted to do, and some of the things they wanted to achieve. And I'm going to keep these anonymous, but I hope they don't mind. Some of them are here today, obviously, and I'm going to ask them maybe to speak a bit more in chapel next week. But I would like to offer a few quotes that have come from your school prefects, and it was really actually a night of inspiration. It made me want to live up to these, and I thought I'd share these quotes with you. And just before I do, I would invite you to think, well, is that something that I can aspire to, and can I actually try to do that this year as well, even though I'm in grade 9, because I'm in grade 9. I would like to be a positive role model who creates lasting change. I want to make an impact in my school and strengthen our community. I want to help people succeed. Knowing when I need to step up as a leader and when I need to step back to make room for others is a goal of mine this year. I would like to build a bridge between students from different cultures and backgrounds. I hope those, as I said, inspire you as much as they've inspired me. Thank you very much, prefects, for all your planning at the moment. They really are looking to see how they can evolve the culture at the school and how they can make this place a better place and provide a better experience for all. To finish, and in the spirit of school pride and learning through repetition, please open your hymnals to number 2, the school song. Please stand.
So since I've spent the morning challenging you, can I challenge you to do that last verse again? Can we leave this chapel Feeling uplifted by that last verse again? Okay. Shall I go and warn the primary? Sorry. Shall I go and warn the primary department that we're going to disturb them? Let's do it with gusto, people. Thank you. Thanks everybody for this morning.